Childrn seen deplaning an aircraft on a Texas tarmac Sunday after a federal judge issued an order blocking their removals from the U.S. moments before being deported by the Trump administration. Their fates and those of hundreds of other Guatemalan children in U.S. custody now in legal question. Lawyers for some of the children saying the young unaccompanied Guatemalans were awakened overnight, put onto planes soon after, one of them even taking off before being ordered to turn around. Planes and multiple charter buses on hold for hours on an airport tarmac outside of McAllen, Texas, as a federal judge in Washington, D.C. ordered the return of the children to the U.S. government facilities. In her order, U.S. District Judge Sparkle Sukdanan halting their removals for at least 14 days pending further proceedings. Lawyers for the children arguing in court filings that because of their age, they are entitled to special due process protections, adding many fear return and wish to continue pursuing their asylum claims, and that they face risks of persecution and torture in Guatemala.
This administration repeatedly engages in an effort to disregard people's constitutional rights and undermine the rule of law.
Deputy Assistant Attorney General Drew Ensign said at an afternoon hearing in Washington that the government would reunite the children with family members in Guatemala, and said, "We obviously think these removals are lawful." This case mirroring similar situations earlier this year, when the Trump administration deported hundreds of migrants to El Salvador despite orders from a court not to do so. And another last-minute court order turning around a bus of Venezuelan nationals en route to an El Paso airport as the government sought to remove them to El Salvador.
Vaughn is joining us now from outside the White House. And Vaughn, the president may be setting up another legal battle, this one over voting laws. What's the latest?
Right, Hallie. The president declaring he will sign an executive order requiring voter ID to vote. He also said he will ban mail-in voting. Both would face legal challenges. Unless Congress passes a law, states administer elections, not presidents. Hallie?
Vaughn Hilliard live for us in Washington. Thank you. That battle comes as multiple sources tell NBC News of an immigration crackdown potentially coming to Chicago, with new pressure from the president on that city and the state's governor now pushing back. Maggie Vespa reports.
Tonight, President Trump ramping up pressure to send troops to Chicago in what he says is an ongoing federal crackdown on crime, this ahead of anticipated ICE raids. Two federal law enforcement officials tell NBC News that ICE, Border Patrol, and other federal agencies plan to increase manpower and scale up operations to arrest immigrants in Chicago as early as this week.
We've already had ongoing operations with ICE in Chicago and throughout Illinois. We do intend to add more resources to those operations.
It comes after the president has deployed troops to the nation's capital. On crime, President Trump writing on social media, warning Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker he better straighten it out fast or we're coming. Just this weekend in Chicago, 5 people have been killed and 31 others shot, police reports show. But just like in D.C., violent crime in Chicago is down overall. Homicides and overall shooting incidents both down more than 30% in the last year, according to the city. Governor Pritzker calling it an invasion, saying the president has other intentions.
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or, frankly, take control of those elections.
A White House spokesperson accusing the governor of deflecting, quote, from the terrible crime crisis that has been plaguing Chicago for years. Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order stating Chicago police will not collaborate with the military on police patrols or immigration enforcement. Tonight, another American city on edge with the possibility of troops arriving soon. Maggie Vespa, NBC News.